There's a secret the wealthy guard like treasure maps hidden in vaults. It's not just how they earn money, it's how they protect it, fortify it, and ensure it multiplies long after they're gone. While most people chase income like water slipping through their hands, the wealthy build dams, reservoirs, and underground pipelines that keep their wealth flowing through generations. This isn't luck. This isn't chance. This is design. And if you've ever wondered why fortunes grow in some families while others struggle to hold on to what they make, the answer lies in what you're about to discover. The wealthy understand a principle most people ignore. Making money is only the first step. Keeping it is the real game. Picture two people planting seeds. The average person plants them in shallow soil, hoping they grow fast. The wealthy dig deeper, protect the seeds from storms, build fences to keep predators away, and water them consistently over time. While one harvest vanishes in a single season, the other multiplies for decades. That's how they view their assets. Every dollar is a seed. Every investment is a tree. And their first instinct isn't to boast about how much they have. It's to shield what they've built from erosion, taxes, lawsuits, inflation, and market crashes. They don't just accumulate, they defend. Because they know history is littered with stories of people who became rich fast, but lost it even faster. The wealthy don't allow that. They build moats. One of the first layers of this moat is legal protection. Wealthy individuals rarely hold assets in their personal names. Instead, they create structures, limited liability companies, LLCs, trusts, foundations, and holding companies. To the untrained eye, it looks complicated. And that's the point. They understand that lawsuits, creditors, and opportunists often target individuals who appear to own valuable property. So, they don't appear to own it at all. Their homes might be held by an LLC, their intellectual property by a trust, their business shares by a holding company. If someone sues them personally, there's often nothing to take. This strategy, called asset protection structuring, isn't about hiding wealth illegally. It's about creating legal distance between themselves and their assets. It's the equivalent of not putting all your gold in your living room, but locking it away in guarded vaults where no intruder can reach. Beyond legal structures, the wealthy embrace the power of diversification. Most people put all their hopes in a single income stream, a job, a business, or a single market. The wealthy scatter their wealth across different classes of assets: stocks, bonds, real estate, private equity, intellectual property, and sometimes even Bitcoin or fine art. This diversification acts like armor. If one market crashes, others stand tall. They don't bet their future on a single horse. They own the whole racetrack. Diversification doesn't just protect them from loss. It stabilizes their wealth. It ensures they never face the nightmare of starting from zero. This is why during economic recessions, while most people panic, the wealthy remain calm. Their wealth is spread out like a wide bridge. Even if one plank breaks, the structure holds. This philosophy of never having all your eggs in one basket isn't just a saying to them. It's a survival law. Another critical shield they use is insurance, and not just basic insurance like health or car. The wealthy build intricate insurance portfolios: umbrella liability insurance, key person insurance, business interruption insurance, even specialized policies for art, collectibles, or rare property. Insurance is the quiet fortress that defends them against sudden disasters. If a fire destroys a property, they rebuild without touching their core capital. If a lawsuit drains millions, liability coverage absorbs the blow. This strategy protects not just assets, but momentum, the forward motion of their wealth-building machine. Average earners see insurance as an expense. The wealthy see it as a shield, a mandatory investment that prevents a single tragedy from erasing decades of effort. Every major asset they own has a protective layer of insurance wrapped around it like armor plating. Tax planning is another battlefield where the wealthy win quietly. While most people groan during tax season, the wealthy are strategizing year-round. They hire elite tax advisors who structure their income through entities, defer gains through 1031 exchanges on real estate, utilize tax loss harvesting in the stock market, and establish charitable remainder trusts to gain deductions while still benefiting their heirs. They understand that taxes are often the biggest expense for high earners, and reducing them legally is equivalent to earning more without extra work. A saved dollar is a dollar earned and protected. This mindset creates a loop. The money saved on taxes is reinvested, generating more income, which is again protected through legal strategies. It becomes a self-feeding ecosystem where wealth accelerates. Meanwhile, the average person just pays whatever the bill says, unaware that strategic planning could transform their financial trajectory. The wealthy also protect their assets by planning for the future generations who will inherit them. They know that sudden inheritances can destroy families if handed without guidance. So, they build what's called dynasty planning. This means not only leaving money, but creating frameworks that teach their heirs how to handle it. They establish family offices, private companies that manage their family's entire wealth, from investments to taxes to philanthropy. They create mission statements, rules for how wealth can be used, and mentorship systems where younger heirs learn financial responsibility before they gain access to large sums. In doing this, they protect their wealth from the two biggest destroyers, ignorance and entitlement, because they know that unprepared heirs can squander a fortune faster than any recession ever could. Protecting wealth means protecting the mindset around it, passing on wisdom along with the money. Even their lifestyle choices are designed to shield wealth. While social media flaunts luxury cars and lavish mansions, many truly wealthy individuals live far below their means. They don't see luxury as proof of wealth. They see liquidity and security as proof. Every flashy purchase must pass a silent test. Will this weaken or strengthen my fortress? They might drive modest cars, wear understated clothes, and live in quiet neighborhoods not out of frugality, but out of strategy. Visibility attracts risk, lawsuits, theft, envy, even kidnapping in some countries. By keeping a low profile, they protect themselves and their families. This is called stealth wealth, a philosophy where the less people know about your fortune, the safer it is. Their goal isn't to impress strangers for a moment. It's to preserve power for decades. One often overlooked protection mechanism is building powerful networks. Wealthy individuals rarely stand alone. They surround themselves with legal experts, financial advisors, risk managers, and trusted partners. This isn't vanity, it's insulation. A strong network can detect threats early, solve crises faster, and present new opportunities before competitors see them. In a way, their social circle is part of their asset protection plan. Where the average person reacts to problems alone, the wealthy deploy entire teams. A single legal warning, a new tax loophole, an upcoming market shift. Their network informs them early, allowing them to adapt and shield their holdings. They understand that information is armor, and relationships are the gates that guard their financial castle. If the first step in protecting wealth is building a fortress, the second step is reinforcing it with invisible walls, systems that operate silently, relentlessly, and without emotional interference. This is where the wealthy pull far ahead. They don't just rely on discipline or good intentions. They engineer environments that make financial protection automatic. While most people rely on self-control to avoid overspending or overexposing their assets, the wealthy remove themselves from temptation entirely. They automate savings and investments. They use family trusts and private foundations to lock assets beyond their own impulsive reach. They set up legal mechanisms where their personal access is deliberately limited, not because they lack willpower, but because they know that even willpower can crack under pressure. They design systems where wealth grows and defends itself like a living organism. This removes emotion from the equation, and emotion is where most fortunes die. One of the strongest of these invisible walls is the family trust. A well-structured trust can survive beyond lifetimes. In this setup, assets are transferred to a legal entity, the trust, and a trustee manages them according to strict instructions. The wealthy use dynasty trusts, which can last for centuries in certain jurisdictions. This means a single fortune can pass through multiple generations while being shielded from estate taxes, divorce settlements, and creditors. The trust acts like a time capsule of wealth. No matter what storms rage outside, the contents remain untouched. More importantly, the instructions inside these trusts often include behavioral clauses. For example, heirs might only access funds if they graduate college, stay free of criminal convictions, or reach a certain age. This turns wealth into a teacher. It rewards responsibility and shields assets from impulsive destruction. Another advanced fortress layer is the use of offshore asset protection trusts. These are legal trusts established in jurisdictions with extremely strong asset protection laws, such as Cook Islands or Nevis. When done properly and legally, this strategy places assets beyond the reach of domestic lawsuits and creditors. If someone tries to sue or seize wealth, they encounter a legal wall guarded by another country's courts. The wealthy don't use these to dodge taxes or commit fraud. Legitimate offshore trusts are fully reported to tax authorities, but they're nearly impregnable against civil judgments. It's like moving part of your treasure to a fortress on another continent, guarded by laws designed to resist attack. This level of foresight is why many fortunes remain untouched even after legal wars that would have destroyed an average person. The wealthy don't wait for threats to arrive. They position their assets far beyond the reach of danger before the first arrow is ever shot. But not all fortifications are about hiding wealth. Some are about making it liquid without making it vulnerable. This is where wealthy families master the use of life insurance as an asset class. Specifically, they use whole life insurance or indexed universal life policies with massive death benefits and tax-advantaged cash value growth. The wealthy pour capital into these policies because they do something rare. They grow tax-deferred, can be borrowed against without triggering taxes, and pay out tax-free to heirs. These policies become private banks. If they need liquidity, they borrow against their policy at low interest, while the full value keeps compounding inside. Meanwhile, the death benefit ensures their heirs receive an instant, tax-free fortune even if market crashes wipe out other investments. To the wealthy, life insurance is not a safety net. It's a stealth vault. While average people see insurance as an expense, the wealthy see it as a cornerstone. Then comes the quiet empire builder, the Family Limited Partnership, FLP. This structure allows wealthy families to pool their assets, real estate, investments, business interests, under a single legal entity. Senior family members act as general partners who control decisions, while younger members become limited partners who own shares but have no control. This has two major effects. First, it centralizes management, preventing reckless heirs from making destructive decisions. Second, it drastically reduces estate taxes. Because the limited partner shares are often valued at a discount, since they have no control, the family can transfer enormous wealth on paper while paying minimal tax. If someone tries to sue an individual family member, they can't seize FLP assets. They can only get a charging order, which gives them no control and often no payout. It's like putting the family fortune inside a fortress where outsiders can see the treasure but can't open the gate. Wealthy individuals also employ the power of layered ownership. This means they never place valuable assets directly under their own names or even under a single entity. For example, a luxury property might be owned by an LLC, which is owned by a holding company, which is owned by a trust. If someone sues them, they must pierce through 3 or 4 layers, each protected by separate legal walls. And because these layers are often located in different states or countries, the legal complexity discourages lawsuits before they even begin. This isn't about secrecy, it's about friction. It makes attacking their wealth so expensive, time-consuming, and uncertain that most attackers give up before trying. This layered strategy is invisible to the casual observer, but deadly effective in defense. It's why some of the wealthiest people in the world appear lawsuit-proof. Not because they are untouchable, but because their opponents would go bankrupt long before reaching their goal. Even more fascinating is how the wealthy use philanthropy as armor. Through charitable foundations and donor-advised funds, they move large amounts of wealth into legally protected entities while also shaping their legacy. Once assets enter these vehicles, they are shielded from personal creditors and estate taxes. Yet the wealthy retain control over how the funds are used through board positions and grant-making authority. This strategy lets them turn what could have been taxable wealth into immortal influence, funding causes, schools, or scientific research for centuries. Average people see charity as giving money away. The wealthy see it as converting vulnerable capital into invincible capital, money that can no longer be taken but will carry their name forever. It is one of the most elegant ways they transform wealth from fragile to eternal. Risk mitigation goes beyond legal and financial shields. It extends into the very architecture of their portfolios. The wealthy don't chase quick gains. They engineer anti-fragility. They build portfolios that benefit from volatility. For example, they might hold assets like gold and Bitcoin alongside stocks and real estate, knowing that when one crashes, the other may rise. They hedge stock positions with options contracts, use municipal bonds for tax-free stability, and place slices of capital into venture funds or private credit that operate independently of public markets. This design ensures that even global recessions cannot destroy their core wealth. Where the average person's portfolio sinks or swims entirely with the stock market, the wealthy build financial ecosystems, like rainforests, where if one species dies, dozens of others thrive. Their wealth doesn't just survive storms. It often grows stronger because of them. A hidden but powerful shield is how the wealthy structure their personal liabilities. Many use asset protection trusts combined with limited liability companies to ensure that if they are sued personally, none of their businesses or real estate can be touched. They separate everything. One property per LLC, one business per corporation, one intellectual property portfolio per entity. This isolation ensures that if one venture collapses or gets sued, the damage cannot spread. It's the opposite of how average people operate, keeping all their assets in their personal name, like stacking priceless paintings in a single unguarded room. The wealthy compartmentalize. Each room is fireproofed. If one burns, the rest remains safe. This strategy alone has saved countless fortunes from imploding during legal battles, bankruptcies, or accidents. At this level, protecting wealth is no longer about fear, it's about mastery. The wealthy do not wait to see what life throws at them. They assume the storms will come: lawsuits, recessions, family disputes, health crises, even political upheavals, and they prepare as if each one is inevitable. Their goal is not just to protect money, but to make their wealth indestructible, like a diamond that survives fire and pressure. They engineer layers of law, insurance, liquidity, tax efficiency, philanthropy, and diversification so dense that nothing can break through. It is this foresight, this refusal to gamble their legacy on luck, that separates enduring fortunes from fleeting riches. They build invisible systems that defend their wealth even while they sleep, even after they die. That is why, while most fortunes fade within one generation, there's last for many. Protecting existing assets is powerful, but the truly wealthy go even further. They protect the future potential of their wealth. This is where their mindset becomes radically different from the average person. The wealthy think in centuries. Most people focus only on what they have today. They build systems that ensure their wealth, their savings, will keep producing long after they are gone. And they design these systems to be self-renewing, self-teaching, and self-adapting. They treat their wealth like a living civilization that must be maintained, upgraded, and governed. They don't just ask, "How do I keep what I have?" They ask, "How do I guarantee this fortune grows for my children's children, even if the world changes completely?" This question drives them to create something most families never build: a long-term wealth ecosystem. Central to this ecosystem is education, not academic degrees, but financial education. The wealthy invest as much in their heirs' minds as they do in their bank accounts. They understand that uneducated heirs are the single greatest threat to multi-generational wealth. That's why they build family offices that don't just manage investments, but actively train their heirs in leadership, financial literacy, risk management, and decision-making. Young family members attend meetings, shadow wealth managers, and gradually take on responsibility under supervision. This process can begin as early as childhood, with lessons about budgeting, investing, and philanthropy woven into daily life. The goal is to make wealth stewardship a natural part of their identity, not an external burden. Because the wealthy know, wealth can only survive ignorance for a short time. But when future generations are trained to think like founders, the fortune becomes unstoppable. They also use powerful psychological tools to protect the emotional health of their heirs, because emotional collapse often destroys fortunes faster than financial mistakes. Wealth can isolate, attract envy, and breed entitlement. To prevent this, many wealthy families build what are known as family constitutions. These are written documents outlining the family's mission, values, and rules for handling wealth.